I'm Van.
I'm Sori.
That's Booby.
And Colby and Chip.
All right, so we're going down the this is Christian Week. The Christian Week rabbit hole. This is unblack metal. I guess it's a Christian version of black metal.
Yeah.
The guy Eric from Vatane. He was commenting on Christian black metal. He said if he was a Christian, he'd be embarrassed.
Oh. Well, I'll have to see if I'm embarrassed.
Rites of Death Antestor.
I know, I keep saying ancestor. You're like, Antestor.
That's a cool name for a band. I have no idea what it means, but it's definitely a cool name. All right, timely topical political commentary. You can check us out at Middle America, Vin and Sori.
My Sori Life contains, it's just another channel that we have where it's like our family behind the scenes and stuff. So check it out.
Rites of Death, let's go.
Go. Wow. That was really interesting how they kept going back and forth with that.
That was definitely black metal. For sure.
Oh, yeah, it was. And I don't...
Black metal is my favorite genre, I think.
Really?
I just can't get over that tremolo picking.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do that, but... but, I really love that riffage, man. I just love that tremolo picking. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it.
I don't think that this was, like, corny at all. Like, it was very black metal.
Well, that's the thing is that, like, you hear a Christian black man, you're like, oh gosh, here we go, it's gonna be corny.
And then you had told me what...
Eric from Vate was saying, but I don't know, like, this is a...
Oh, this is good.
This is legit black metal. Like,
and I really like the way that they had, like, that singing at the beginning, and then, like, it would, like, kind of switch in the middle, which kind of made you, like you realize the darkness of the metal when you have the light, and then all of a sudden the dark goes back. So I was like, whoa, this is really cool.
Yeah, it definitely, like, it started out with a soundscape for sure, which is, the name of the record is The Forsaken, and...
Came out in 2005.
Yeah. So this is like what started the record.
Yeah.
Which I always used to, like, back in the day when I used to buy metal records, like, the first song was always like...
This is it.
Yeah, it was one of those things, you know, like, are you right? That was Korn's first song. So it was like, that was your introduction to Korn.
Okay.
Was that question. But, yeah, so this was a very good, like, whoa. This is good all around. And if you thought like, oh, it's gonna be corny, it wasn't. Like,
no.
It was straight up black metal.
Yep. You know me, I walk into it already like...
Well, I think both of us had kind of a, assumption of what Christian metal's gonna be. And honestly, some of the songs were corny.
Yeah.
But
there's been some that have been really good too.
Well, as it evolved, it's clear that some people said, look, we're not doing the corny thing anymore. Like, we're just gonna play metal and be a lot more raw and real world with our music.
Yeah.
What do you think the song was about?
I have no idea, babe.
I think it's kind of like, it's about the progress. It's about us making progress, and then I
thought it was about resurrection.
You start running into it's not necessarily different. But you start running into these, like, really ethical questions. Like, for example, cloning, and, like, I was just reading this article where they outlawed designer babies. Like, some state was trying to outlaw designer babies. You can...
What? What's a designer baby?
Well, you can kind of mess with the genetics and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah. So they call it, like, it's a form of eugenics, where Alec kind of works in it, where you can...
basically when you're gonna do like IVF, but they mess with this.
Right, like, I want a brown-haired, baby that's 6'4" and whatever. Yeah.
I didn't know they were doing that.
Yeah, so I think the song is about, like, crossing...
Oh.
Where are we crossing those lines? You know what I mean? I told you we're in too deep, we're falling down, and then he says, like, the act, transfer life into what's dead, the act of a human playing God. We're doing the acts of medieval witchcraft and the worship of the dead. We're falling down from our thrones so supposedly high when we confront the power great, the might of our own creator. Transfer life into what's dead, the act of a human playing God. So it looks like it looks like we have, I don't know, maybe it's like one of those alternate universes where people, where we've advanced scientifically to where we can reverse the actual power of death itself. Which, as a Christian would make for a very interesting story, because it's like the resurrection is this big thing in Christianity. It's what you're putting your entire faith on.
Yep.
But what if a human could figure out how to reverse the concept of death, and what does that do for Christianity and all the rest of it? Yeah. Well,
I don't think that they could reverse it indefinitely. Because, you could say, there was years ago where some of the advancements that we've made medically, they would think, oh my gosh, like somebody coming out of, like, knowing what to do to get somebody out of a coma and let them go back to regular life after. You know what I mean? Like, to sustain the brain and, help them with their breathing and stuff. Some people might have looked at that as playing God, which is why some religions don't let you do anything medical.
Yeah. Yeah, I think within a Christian worldview, things that sustain life are all, there would be no crisis with it. But things that return life to a dead person, I think, would create some serious theological issues for people. You would create seriously, like somebody's been dead for
I never really thought about it.
Like dead for a week.
Like then, Walt Disney, where he's all frozen in that stuff. If somebody brought it back.
I don't really know if that's true. I don't really know if that's.
Oh, if he's really frozen in there?
Yeah, I mean, how do you know? Like, have you done any research on it, or is it just an urban legend? You know what I mean?
Probably just another urban legend that I've taught our children.
He told. Oh, stop for a lot. I mean, I don't know.
Well,
maybe
it was in a book that we were reading. That
it must be true.
No. It was a fictional book about this guy that did it.
Cryogenic freezing stuff. Yeah.
And then.
Yeah, there's lots of that's why the whole discipline of what?
It's just weird because like I can't just have a normal conversation with people because I haven't researched everything that I think I know.
Well, I don't think you need to research everything, but like when you hear something that sounds urban legendy.
Didn't sound urban legendy to me.
Really? Somebody just froze himself cryogenically and they're waiting for... That didn't sound...
The guy's got a lot of money.
That sounds like completely urban legendy to me.
I know, babe. When you're saying it to me, then I start thinking, well, wait. Where?
Did you say one time there are all these babies in the walls of these monasteries?
Yes, I thought there was. And then you started then I started second guessing that too.
Look, babe, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying, I'd like
do your research.
Well,
fine, Vin.
but I think I've mentioned Francesca Minerva a lot. Where she talks about if we're able to kill a child in the womb, we should be able to kill a child outside the womb. And of course, I'm not even talking about that from the abortion perspective. I'm just looking at it as like a concept of we've advanced so far technologically and philosophically that the person like that could even write a paper.
Yeah.
That type of man-playing godism is like I feel like we've crossed that line a bunch of times and we only know certain things. You know what I mean? But it's going to be one of those moments where it's like, I forgot what it was, but yeah, like genetically engineering kids, like, is that a bad thing or not? And it's like, well, it kind of makes everybody uneasy when you first talk about it, like genetically engineering kids. And then you see it all the time in these, science fiction movies, where it's like, this is a person who's been genetically engineered and whatever.
Yeah,
but then it's like, well, if you could ensure, like, let's say that there was some shot or something that you could give that you would ensure that your child would have no disabilities, would be in complete and peak health all the days of their life, like, would you take it? Because that's a form of genetic engineering. Like, if they could...
I don't...
Would you give your kid that shot?
I have a problem with some... I mean, like I know people that their children have this very, very rare disease, and they're going to die before they're 13, and they said the only way that they can... Like, if they wanted to have more children, because they know, I think it's the Y chromosome or something like that, because they know that that's missing, they can put that in, and then ensure that doesn't happen to another one. I don't have a problem with that.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. Like, when you're the parent, like, there's no problem with it, but then it's like, where do we draw the line?
Well, I felt so weird when you were saying you're picking the eye color and the hair color, and that made me feel a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah, but that's just cosmetic. That's not going to do any harm either way. You know what I mean? But again, it's like, there's that line. I think a lot of people are fine with, like, health things. They'd probably be good with it. But then, like, the cosmetic things people get uneasy with. And it's probably the Aryan stuff. Like, if a person said, I want a blonde-haired, blue-eyed Aryan baby, people would be like, you know what I mean? Like, so I just think it's about, like, going to the point where, advancing to the point where we're playing God and we kind of end up kind of destroying ourselves. Like, nuclear technology, like, who are we to make that decision? You know what I mean? About, we're watching this show where this particular character has basically all power over the world, and then he breaks that instrument and he says nobody should have all this power. Right. So that's one of those situations where it's like, you really have to think through the ramifications of of human technology and what it means to be an image bearer of God in Christian theology, but never crossing that line to believing that you are God. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that makes God God is his rights over life and death.
Yes.
That's, I kill, I make alive, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
And so that's a pretty big that gap between us and God is getting bridged the farther and farther we delve into the scientific enterprise. And of course a lot of people look at that and go, that's right, we don't need God. Then it's like, well, you're giving a 5-year-old access to the family convertible. So it's like saying, I don't need Dad because I have the convertible too. Well, yeah, Dad knows how to harness the power of the convertible so that everybody in your family doesn't die on the way from here to Walmart. But you as a 5-year-old, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's being able to have access to a thing, and then the wisdom as to how to handle that thing. Mm-hmm. And so what happens with humanity is that we're like, we figured out how to split the atom. We don't need God. It's like, okay, you just killed a whole bunch of people.
I know, yeah.
So
that's a problem.
So I think it's but I think this is a question, I could be completely wrong here, but this is a question that happens all the time in science fiction movies too, that's always one of the underlying conflicts.
Yeah.
Is, the mad scientist who just wants to continuously explore and get to new heights of knowledge and things like that. And then you've got the other element that's like, no, you're playing God, this is crazy, you can't have that power. And the mad scientist is like, screw you, we need to figure it out. It's like...
Yeah.
Anyway, what do you give the song?
A 10.
Really?
Yep. Yeah.
This is a good solid 8 for me. The song didn't really take me... sonically, this is actually one of the better black metal songs I've heard in a while.
Yeah.
Which is saying a lot because we just got done reviewing Magua. Mm-hmm. So sonically... I
thought this one was better.
Sonically, I thought it was better than the Magua song we heard. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Lyrically, it was just a little thin for me. Like, I wish they would have had
It just sounded very black metalish, the stuff that they were saying.
I wish they would have had explored it more lyrically and deeper into the concept of what they were saying.
I can see that.
Which would have added another 30 to 45 seconds to the song, which I'd have been good with. But it was really, really, really good sonically. So it's an 8 for me.
Seems rather low.
Antestor-Rites of Death, Vin out.
Sori out.
Gone.